Hi, here in Australia, and I was just passing. You see the there's behind me there's a chimney, and then over here is a steeple for St. Mary's Church. It's a very old, 100-year-old, not very old by Japanese standard, but old enough, church here in Bairnsdale. Anyway, I went to the service on Sunday as part of my job duties, and I saw the head priest there. There are two priests that serve this community, two Catholic priests, and I've come to know him over the 4 years that I've come here, and we were glad to see one another. And he always teases me because I always have my camera, and I've been running into him here and there throughout my week-long stay in Bairnsdale, and we had a great chat last night, mostly social, but really interesting, fun guy. And he's lived his whole life here, and he's a pretty important guy. And I was just now walking past the church in the complex, and he has a house behind the church, big brick place, and behind that is the community center, and in front of that is the 100-year-old church with the steeple and everything. And while we were talking the last couple of days, he was definitely had his priestly demeanor on. He let it down a little bit last night, insofar as you could tell that he was open to talking to me about matters spiritual, which was fine with me. I'm happy to talk with anybody about those things, but circumstances just never brought it about. And hold on, that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is the two thoughts that came of last night and this morning. One was sitting with him and others last night and telling me about his life here, growing up here, and how he became a priest, and how his circumstances have led him to the important position that he's in. And just now, walking to get my coffee, walking past his church and seeing the extensive grounds, the impressive brick edifice, and the architecture, and the way that it's at the heart of the community. And I was thinking to myself how firmly ensconced his circumstance and his life from childhood on are within his role as a spiritual leader in the community. And he even living in a building with a cross on it. Like, this is not a religious video. I'm not making a religious point here. I'm laying down the foundation for how I then jumped to my own circumstance. So if you don't mind indulging talking about my life. So there we go. And I was thinking about how him and his circumstance, and then I started to think about myself. What things in my life are walled up. That's not the right word. That sounds like I'm criticizing the religion. I'm not. But it really was. It was a lot of brickwork. You can see it right there. A lot of brickwork in this community. And that was really the thought that was going through my mind. Walled up inside something. Walled up, firmly. Yesterday I was admiring the brickwork of one building and thinking how long it would last and how strong it was compared to the stuff that I'm used to, the wood and paper of Japan, and more, simple materials that we use in the United States. Here's the man who's, pardon the word, I don't mean to criticize anything, but walled up within a life that he's created for himself. And I'm not saying he's at all unhappy with that. That's just the way it is. But what things have I got that are walled up like that? And I was thinking, I have several things like that. Because I'm not a religious man, but the things that I hold dear, such as the scientific principles. Science is a big part of my life. The scientific principles that are that I rest my laurels on. Now, things like evolution, gravity, the elemental laws of physics, the standard model, things like that I take for granted based on the empirical tests that have done, and the trust and reliability of peer review of scientists that know more than I do, but have a system in place to review one another and to discern fact and fancy. And I was asking myself, how strongly are those things? How strong are the edifice of each of those? And I was thinking to myself, how not very. If any one of those were to find discreditable evidence that could discredit them in a substantial way, I would knock them down in a moment. I do not want to surround myself in anything that has the vestige of of permanence and ability to weather serious criticism. And that led to the next thought, which was, and I wrote it in my little book here. I'll probably make one of those silly little pictures I like to make and put them on my LylesBrother Facebook page. Where was it? Oh, I wrote this. Erect no edifice you're not willing to destroy. As I kneel, like anybody that might see me kneeling on the ground. Erect no edifice that you're not willing to destroy. And I'm going to try to remind myself to not build anything around me so grand, elaborate, or seemingly permanent that I won't tear it to pieces when reality shows otherwise. Well, here we go. A little bit of Australian musings with the birds and the like. And here's my hotel. Tantrum Motor Inn. Let's get in. Clean up a little more. Get to work. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.